Alright, so this is going to be the Looking for Org versus Team Empire game. So starting off with the bans, Capital is banned out from Empire. So Empire doesn't really run Capital, they have their own lineup for this map, where they normally will run the Thermite, Hibana, Zofia, Thatcher, and Jackal. And they've run that for months now. It's what they like running on this map. So they almost never run Capital in their actual lineup. So if they aren't running him, they normally want him banned so that they can hard hold positions easier. Then Thatcher's banned from Lestream, and I think that's just a target ban onto Empire itself, as their strategies rely on having a Thatcher in play. So with Thatcher gone, they're gonna have to change up some ops. It shouldn't be too difficult for them still, but it's just the beginning of a target ban. Then Jaeger is also being target banned by Lestream, well, LFO now, and that's on the Joystick. And Joystick he was to a degree the best fragger on Empire before Ashe lost her ACOG, and he doesn't like Ashe without it. He doesn't like the G36, and he doesn't like running the Hollow. So he's been switched to, well, he was then switched to more of a support role. However, he's still on defense. He was the Jaeger main. On defense he was the Jaeger main. He was the Jaeger Ashe main originally. And on defense he still plays Jaeger a good amount. So that's really just a target ban onto Joystick in order to try and take away a bit of fragging power and make him a little bit more uncomfortable, which I think LFO actually do in this game. Then Mira's banned out from LFO. Oh no, from Empire actually, I'm wrong. Empire, they don't like going against Mira, so they ban her. I think it's an insta-ban for them every time. Anyway, with that, on
it's
the game.
Specific to just deal with a Joystick, or to see if the fact that it ADSs very deal with the shield, the vigil.
Alright, so Cache Defense coming out first. Really, Cache, Master, and Basement are all defendable. Honestly, I rank the Basement being the best, Cache being second, and Master being third. However, it does come down to just team preference and how you like to play the sites, and it's just team preference. But from that, LFO, they're running the Monty for some pushing power. There's no real, I'd say that he's there for pushing power. My best guess is he's going to be used to push the defenders out of the garage. And other than that, we're going to have to wait and see how he's used. Really, Monty's just picked as a, not every time, because if you run a Legion and a Smoke together, he's to a degree useless if the two together can be effective. So he's more of a pocket strat thing, where you bring out Monty not every time, but you bring him out every once in a while just to throw a new look. Then the Double Hard Breacher of Thermite and Hibana is coming out. Then IQ is on the, what am I talking? No, then Rise is on the IQ. And I'm not 100%, actually, okay, no, I think the IQ is being run just because they see Joystick is on Vigil and there may be a Echo in play, and there is an Echo in play, so they're just saying, okay, we can always know the position of one of their roamers, and we can know the positions of their yokais and take them out within 30 seconds, so they're not really a threat to the plant. Then Buck, then there's a Buck in play, and that's just for vertical pressure. If you're going downstairs, then you want to be running a if you're going to be attacking downstairs, then Buck is very useful just for being able to open up all of the kitchen floor, and that just clears a large amount of people out of the arsenal area. So you can get your smokes and do your pinch correctly. You can theoretically clear out all of arsenal. Then on the defense, Joystick is on the Vigil. So I think that's kind of due to there's a Jaeger ban in play, and he still wants to play a relatively similar operator, as that is his play style. So he switched up to Vigil, as well as bringing the impacts. He could possibly be trying to impact either the garage wall, or if I pull up my pen, he can either be going for the garage wall, or he can impact the top of this to stop a workshop push. And he'll be doing that alongside Shepard with his impacts. Then there's both a bandit and a Cade being run. Now, I don't really understand this because I'm not seeing the point of it. The double hard breacher, where I really just don't understand it. Maybe, well, really, I can't tell you. I really can't tell you why there's a double breach denial operators going on. It seems kind of redundant to me, and it could just be that they're expecting for the bandit charges to be put down here, and then a Maverick will come and get rid of them, so then you can throw a Cade on the top and waste a little bit more time. At that point, a Maverick can just do he can Maverick the top of the wall, then bottom of the wall, and then they can just buck it out. So I'm not sure about the double hard breach denial. Maybe it also is they want to be able to just throw one here, because they know with Thatcher not being in play, it's going to be really annoying to deal with. But at that point, why are you bringing the bandit? So I'm really just not sure about the bandit. Then Scyther's on Echo. It's an Echo. I think it really just comes down to how good your team is at not plant denial, but wasting time and stopping the push. Because if the enemy can plant with a minute remaining, Echo's useless. If they have to plant at the 5-10 second mark, then Echo can be really, really useful. So it just comes down to how good your team is at wasting time. And in all honesty, I don't think Cache is really the best site for an Echo, just because if you clear out garage and then if this wall is open and you've cleared out garage, then you can go for a plant. And that normally doesn't take 2.5 minutes. So I'm not 100% sure about this Echo. We're just going to have to wait and see whether or not he's useful. And then Karzeka's on the dock. Probably he's going to be playing inside of garage and just wants the ability to one is bringing the bulletproof camera here in order to gain a bit more information. And then also he's probably just going to be playing the long angles from the railing in garage. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Definitely could get tracked here by Rise. But at the same time, like, you're really going to have to keep him in check because of the shield. Monty trying to push in. That's, of course, the kind of operator like Joystick that could come up for a flank at the last second.
Okay, cookie cutter defense coming out. 2 reinforcements go there. 1 goes here on the middle wall. 1 goes on this wall. 2 go here. 4 go in garage. And this is basically the only setup you ever need on this site. That's it. This has been the setup for 6 months, a year for just about every single team. So nothing strange coming out there.
Protecting him will be the play here for sure. Hicks is a pretty good
shield going down.
For example, he was the one to bring that fuse shield strat that we saw on border previously.
Now, the one thing I want to talk about for LFO is if they cannot take garage control, they are going to struggle. Like, if this Monty dies, they're really going to have issues. Because they have no way of actively getting rid of these bandits with no with no Maverick or Thatcher in play. So it's going to be right now. LFO is really going to be relying on this Monty to be able to take garage. At least that's what I think they're going to be doing. Because if they cannot take garage, then they're really going to be struggling, because they won't. Besides maybe sending the IQ below, they're not going to be able to open up this wall or this wall if there's a Cade at the top, or even bandits. Cade's at the top. So it's something that I really don't like that they're relying so heavily on this Monty and didn't just drop the Hibana for a Maverick. Because with the Monty in play, there's an uncertainty associated with it, while if there is a Maverick, then you're going to get that wall open no matter what. So I do think that a Maverick here would be better than the Monty, or at least better than the Hibana, and then keep the Monty for the pushing power. So at least you are certain you can get the garage wall open.
So he does pretty well on it. We'll see how if they can get this door open or the wall.
Top is shotgunned out so that you can throw impacts above to destroy any thermites or Hibana charges. Usual rotate hole.
Be able to deny that. Then of course we'll have to see where those yokai are placed as well. That will be something that can affect Monty also. Something to keep in mind if they can coordinate that well.
Okay, so it looks like it's going to be a garage push for the Monty.
Stairs, but he could also just peek it and make a decision after that. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if this Monty did a decent chunk of damage. We're used to kind of seeing LFO playing some shields as well.
I really wish it gave me some top-down view.
Teams in EU that really playing some shields as well.
Okay, so Joystick kills Rise outside the front door. Joystick just took an aggressive peek, won the fight.
In 3 teams in EU that really run this. Joystick finds Rise. Okay, well, you can give him whatever up. It's not like the K1A is not a great killing machine. He'll walk right out and be detected. And he'll fall back down with the... Was it the yokai that hit him in that position? He's trying to combo it to kill the Monty, but... I don't know, he's going to still be alive. And Joystick forced back for just now, but he's already done some work. So what do? Scyther is staying alive, and the grenade will be thrown here by the Buck.
So I want to see if I can get an angle on this.
Also just peek it and make a decision after that. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if...
So this is what I'm curious about. This got opened up, and Joystick knows it's opened up. Maybe he knows no one's repelling. However, with this opened up, he has to be a lot more careful about playing aggressively on this Monty, because all it takes is someone repelling up here, and it's a straight angle to the door. So I'm not sure why LFO is not actively using the angles they create, because they open that up, yes, but then they just give it up. And if they had used it, they could have possibly gone a refrag onto Joystick, and that could be big. Well, it's not necessarily big, but that could help equalize, because they had lost Rise due to Joystick just peeking the main door.
This Monty did a decent chunk of damage. We're used to kind of seeing LFO playing some shields as well. There's like 3 teams in EU that really run this. Joystick finds Rise. Okay, well, you can give him whatever up. It's not like the K1A is not a great killing machine. He'll walk right out and be detected. And he'll fall back down with the... Was it the yokai that hit him in that position? He's trying to combo it to kill the Monty, but...
Now, no one is supporting the Monty, and Monty has to take 2 fights at the same time. Which, I mean, I don't understand, because if the point is to take garage control, then you need to invest more than just a shield that can't shoot when he's using his gadget.
I know, he's going to still be alive.
This Monty's never been able to push against an Echo and a Joystick. Well, it's an Echo drone, a Doc, and a Vigil.
So what do? Scyther is staying alive, and the grenade will be thrown.
So Aces was down inside a strip club. I don't know why.
Here by the
Corey's on top of the roof.
Corey cannot find anyone.
And Alfama's is waiting to thermite stuff, even though he cannot actively thermite stuff until they take garage control, because they have no Maverick or Thatcher, as Thatcher is banned.
LFO back
so
just a bit. They're really unsure of where...
This seems to me like LFO was expecting some other site, and when they didn't get it, they're now really struggling based on their lineup.
Will be coming from at this point, and with not enough claymores, runouts are always a possibility.
Because right now, Monty can't push because he's going to be in a crossfire and there's going to be an echo drone. So he's going to be dead if he pushes. Thermite's outside the wall. There's nothing he can do until the attack can get rid of the bandit batteries or Cades. And I don't know if that's happened. I don't think it has. So overall, 1 member of LFO is dead, 2 of them can't do anything, and 2 are on the other side of the map. So this is just a failed push, in my opinion, from LFO.
You're fighting someone like Empire. You gotta clear the top floor. Nitro Cell will be dropped, and Aces will find Joystick. That's a pretty good play.
So, one gets downed. He was trying to hard hold a position against grenades. You can't hard hold positions against grenades. But that was the bandit, so I'm not sure how the first bandit... Well, I'm not sure why bandit is down in this position. Because normally you want to be further over around this area, bandit tricking. But then you could also just be putting down both of your... You could put down both of your two bandit batteries, wait for the grenade, have Cade throw his electro claw, and from there you can probably trick any... Well, not... Yeah, then you can still deny the wall. So if you're denying the wall, you can deny the wall, but you also aren't going to be as exposed. So really this just came down to Dan was playing a position that I'd say that he probably shouldn't have, and he got grenaded out of it.
Play and Dan is on the floor. Can you find the second Corey? Firing down onto Karzeka as...
So that was kind of a dumb peek, in my opinion, from Karzeka, because if you... I mean...
Play and Dan is...
Corey, right now, if he was holding an active angle...
Corey firing down onto Karzeka.
So Corey had already shot at Karzeka, missed the shots, but then Karzeka goes and peeks the exact same thing again to get Dan up. And he does get Dan up. However, that's really dangerous for Karzeka because he has to overexpose himself. And it is very likely, and I'm very surprised actually, that Karzeka didn't get killed from the buck and Dan remains downed. Anyway, Joystick gets killed. I'm not sure where.
The wall will be open, but Alpha...
And then Alfama kills Dan.
Finds the frag.
Wall got opened. So wall gets opened. However, there is still an electro claw in play from the Cade, so I'm not sure exactly how the wall gets open when there's still utility.
It's opened here from the balcony.
Definitely advantage here. They're just gonna have to play it. Still plenty of time left to make the stack happen, but the fact that they have a man advantage is the big thing, and that's...
So Aces just walks in, takes the head off of Karzeka. Good shots there. Now, I'm so curious as to why Hicks is down here. If he really wants to be effective, I think it'd be better for him to be pushing up the stairs a bit more, because from there he's really going to be a threat for whoever's playing the railing, and then Aces can walk in. And if Aces chooses to go for a fight on one of them, well, really, Hicks could just drop his shield and just crouch down, not even try to ADS. And he can just drop the shield, just to make noise, then have Aces come in, and Aces can then go and just go take the head off of Karzeka a lot easier and a lot less dangerously. And if Karzeka decides he wants to take the fight onto Hicks, well, onto the Hibana instead of the Monty that can then ADS and go for the kill. So basically, Karzeka has to choose one and then gets killed from the other. Anyway, 4v2.
Now Monty's gonna be able to
I wish I could see more how Joystick died, but
from the ledge, Scyther's gonna have to make a serious play with this Yokai, and fortunately he doesn't have either of them in the place he wants them right now.
You're gonna have him in some position to at least stun the Monty before he walks on into you. You fire in, but all the bullets are right on the Monty as you're expecting him to vault, and this should give Empire some info on where the Monty's coming from. Below, Shepard actually fires down. He walks on into you. You fire in, but all the bullets are right on the Monty as you're expecting him to vault, and this should give Empire...
So, plants going down, smokes have come out, and so this is what I find amusing. There's an Echo in play, however, he's not using his drone to stop the plant, he's using his gun. He's not even on the drone. So this is kind of one of the reasons why I don't think Echo is always a must-ban operator, because even when he's in play, he's not always effective. I mean, the 40 seconds are left right now. Echo's not going to be able to stop the plant entirely. Yes, he could stop it a little bit, but, well, he could stop it for a short duration. However, this is really just it. I don't think the Echo is the right pick for Scyther in this situation.
Some info on where the Monty's
now, Cade drops down and starts playing vertically with his impacts. There's a default plant spot, and it's destructible from the floor below.
Below, Shepard actually fires down and finds one kill.
Hicks then... Actually, was it... I think it was actually Scyther that got the kill on the... Thermite. It was Alpha Thermite? Yes, so it was actually the Echo pushing through the smoke that got the kill and not Shepard. Then Hicks was there to refrag.
Already caught Scyther, and Shepard will take ages to run back up. Diffuser is going to get planted here with the impact.
Okay, so this is kind of dumb from the Monty. So you just planted in nearly the exact same spot, and you are planting in a place where the floor is destructible, and you could be seen from the first hole as well.
And Shepard will take ages to...
And you'd also know that the guy is below. So at this point, you just gotta move a little bit. That's really it. It's gonna take Shepard a good amount of time to get back upstairs and go for a fight, so you don't have to plant default here.
To run back up. Diffuser is gonna get planted here with the impact thrown on the side. He's right next to you, Shepard. Oh!
I'm not sure what happened here. My best guess is there was a bit of server-sided debris combined with, I think Shepard plays in 4-3. Well, I'm not sure who plays in 4-3 in Empire. I know a few people do, but it could just be he's playing 4-3. He didn't see it, and so he just misses.
Oh no, it's already planted, and the Monty has deployed the shield. Nigh impossible for Shepard to retake in this position with 3 slugs left in the magazine, or 2 in the TC.
Now, I'm not sure why the Hibana went downstairs, because I don't see the point of her being there. Now, maybe it's, well, my one thought is maybe she dropped downstairs in order to play vertically if he goes for the diffuser. However, if your teammates, if someone's playing below and they don't stop the plant through the kill holes they made, that would make me think that there's a problem with the kill holes, and I wouldn't actually be able to get an angle on them. So I wouldn't be jumping down for that. And I think it'd be better for aces to stay upstairs and have a crossfire going, because you only really need 2 people in order to effectively hold this. One person holds the cache stairs, and that was the buck you saw inside of cache, and then you have one person holding the garage. And if you hold those 2 areas, then Shepard isn't going to be able to get back to the diffuser in time. Now, yes, you could theoretically go to the master side, however, that takes way too long, so people aren't going to do it.
ECSG 12, it's all in the 44 mag. There's a yokai drone set upstairs to give some info, but it's aces.
And aces cleans it up.
And everybody is just looking for aces. This man has been on fire since the day he joined Pro League. It's not surprising.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want
to... Everybody is just looking for aces. This man has been on...
Okay, for some reason I thought that was the Monty, and I was curious as to why Monty was down there. I'm looking at the Echo band here. But anyway. So first round goes to LFO. So I'd say Empire did a good job of getting the first pick. And I'm not sure exactly how Joystick died. I'm just assuming he overexposed himself. However, really I would say that with Dan dying, that's what kind of sealed the round. Because garage control was then lost for Empire. Because if you have one person holding garage and there's a Monty coming and somebody behind him, there's no way you're going to be able to win the fight. It's a 2-on-1 fight, you're not winning it. So you almost always have to have 2 people in garage, at least the way I see it, because you need to be able to establish a crossfire from, say, one person down there on the railing and one person around, kind of like that, and then you have a crossfire for the majority of all of garage.
So, which is why you do off.
Now, with that, LFO is going with the same setup, same lineup, and then Empire, they dropped the dock for the dock for a Legion, and they dropped the Echo for a Maestro. So, really that's just I'm not sure about the Maestro. My best guess is they said, okay, the Echo's with the IQ in play, Echo's not gonna be viable. So get Echo out of here. Let's go Maestro for the better gun, and we still get utility to give information. And then Karzeka's on the Legion in order to stop the Monty from pushing, even though the Monty really wasn't the... I wouldn't say the Monty was the issue here, so much as it was... Like, he really just stood there for the majority of the round. He wasn't really applying too much pressure, in my opinion, and it more just came down to a few bodies were lost early, mainly Joystick and Dan both dying, and that kind of opened up everything for the attackers. And with that, Cash coming out again.
Stop these types of attacks specifically. They're going to try Cash again anyways, though, and see if they can do a little bit better with it. But I don't know. It's hard to say. They bring the same lineup again on defense as on offense, so it just really comes down to how they play it. Now that they know
so
how they play the
what's this thing? Yeah. Okay. Same cookie cutter defense. Nothing changed. It's not going to change.
The, reveal phases, I don't think it was a 6th pick, so they should know.
I'm curious about this Maestro Cam, because this Maestro Cam can look down here, but I don't think it can really look down the garage area. So it's only really viable for this general area and maybe callouts here. So I'm curious what the thought process is with it. Normally, you would put it up on the wall here because then that can look down.
Know what they need to do at this point, because this is not an unusual thing to bring the Monty for this.
It's not unusual to bring out silly Monty.
It's just, though, like I said, there's not a lot you can actually do about it, because the kennel side of the map is isolated. You can't really just run up onto the roof. There's not a lot of jump outs for it.
The instant that the fuser's planted, you're not getting back.
Yeah.
As long as that Monty's alive. At least that's the strategy overall. So this is why when we talked about Chaos and how they ran the Monty, this was one of the strategies that worked so well for them, and they kind of really ran well with the Monty. Now all the
same holes getting open up.
To open up the standard holes here up by garage, and I'll have double holes here to walk on through. So Rise has that first advantage. Free firing in the back is unsure if it's a player or not, and all you guys.
So Joystick was holding inside of garage, and IQ took the fight on him, and really just came down to Joystick won the fight. That's it.
Not safe.
I would argue that this wasn't really the fight that Rise should have taken. Instead, I really wish that this angle was used more to contest down inside of garage. However, and why it isn't, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it's even being used in this situation. Maybe it's just they're worried about the railing angle and getting shot from there if they try and repel. However, I really can't tell you. But really, I mean, it just comes down to you have a Monty in play, and twice Rise has tried to be the pusher of the team and to push some area of the map, and he gets killed by Joystick. Well, here he gets downed. But I mean, so if you're taking a one-on-one fight, ask yourself why if you have 5 people still alive and there's no need for it. I mean, it just comes down to, I think it's a bit of over-aggression from Rise, where, I mean, you're trying to take on one of the best aimers in Siege right now. The guy, people literally thought that he was hacking because of how good he was. So I don't know what the idea was for Rise here, but I would say this isn't a fight he should have taken.
Against Joystick.
Now, I don't like this, though. Joystick is constantly peeking the same angle, and Aces is just holding an angle. So, I mean, I would put it, well, really, I'd say that the Type 89 isn't really good at this range just because of how much horizontal recoil it has and how kind of random it is. It's pretty good at medium range, but long range, I don't think it's the best. And with how little recoil the SMGs have, I think those are almost better at long range just because it's easier to hit the head because of how you can control the recoil. But it's still not a fight you want to take. So
aces. Oh, what a distance. Tries to find a head.
I'm really just... Okay, so Joystick just gives up the angle, which is smart. He has no reason to take it.
Has to pick up Rise at some point in time. That's really the big struggle for any team as they try to enter from Garage.
That was definitely the play from Joystick. That really just burned up a ton of the time. He also downed his own counter. Of course, it's not going to be forever, but at the same time, that really slows down their attack. Now, with the Monty attack, it depends on slow, steady pressure to an extent. So you do have to burn up a bit of time making that pressure work. Not sure if they got the wall open yet. So you see all...
So Joystick kills Rise. Right here.
Thumb over there, but Joystick finishes off Rise. So he's...
So I don't get that. I mean, 3 times Rise has taken a fight on Joystick, and 3 times he has lost it. So I'm not sure what Rise is thinking in this situation. But for now, I would say that he needs to really go reevaluate pushing by himself. He needs to focus more on team coordination things. Because right now, he's not being useful for the team. If you give someone 3 tries to do the same thing and it never works any of those 3 tries, then it's not something you want to continuously do.
He's going to manage to pull it off after all, despite how long it took him to finish the job. But they are going to try and get this wall open now. Grenades coming out to do the job. And I got to imagine Dan's not going to be able to do a whole lot to fight that. Karzeka, though, is doing a good job with the Legion, trying to stop the Monty from pushing into Garage, which is also important.
I'm not sure if the Garage wall actually got opened. It may have been tricked from the Cade, but I'm not sure.
He's also going to use his gun to pressure. But Joystick,
and Dan's not even near to ban a trick. But one thing I'd say for Empire, at least for Dan, is he needs to be recognizing whether or not 1 grenade or 2 grenades are being thrown to kill him. Because if LFO's only focusing on throwing 1 grenade at a time, thinking that that's all it's going to take to get him out, then he can abuse that, and he can wait for the first grenade. Once it explodes, he then goes the bandit trick. Because it just comes down to how much prep work and how much, well, not prep work, but your mid-round adaptations and how good you are at recognizing things. Whether or not someone's willing to invest all of their utility to do something, or only the bare minimum that you can then abuse.
This is really stunting their ability to make this push. You see them having to rotate now. They might even have to try and push through bedroom to get a flank.
Both grenades have been taken out for Corey. I don't think the wall has gone open.
Still left to run around. No one's able to stop him.
Dan has found 1 kill on Aces here as he dropped down, and Alfama is down and taken.
I want to see whether or not there's a goo mine there.
Push through bedroom to get a flank to make this work, because Joystick's still left to run around. No one's able to stop him.
Okay.
Dan has found 1 kill on Aces here as he dropped down, and
Joystick takes the fight, wins the fight.
Down and taken away by Joystick. The season at 75 in hand. Corey's left with Hicks. And sure, it's something, but how do you deal with all 5 of Team Empire? Next to impact grenade thrown in the back as you're unsure of where the buck is left. And
so, really, this just comes down to this push is too spread out from LFO. They're trying to take Garage while also opening up the wall at the same time, and nobody is helping one another. Thermite's outside of the wall just waiting. Hibana's on the other side of the map. Corey's outside of the cache window. And Monty is at the garage door, and IQ is trying to take a fight on the Joystick every time. So it really just comes down to the push is too spread out. Nobody is really helping one another, in my opinion. And this seems to me like LFO needs a Thatcher, or they need to just, well, not a Thatcher, but they just need a Maverick. They need to run a Maverick because they have no way of they aren't actively able to get rid of the Bandit and Cade every single time. So they need to just be saying, okay, we need to be running Maverick here. So I'm not sure why they continuously try and run the Monty when the Monty mainly is just standing there. Monty is not someone you can bring for every single site or every single time on a site. He's somebody that you bring every once in a while just to throw the enemy off, force them off of their comfort ops onto more the smoke, the Legion. So I'm not sure why I'm just not sure about the lineup, in all honesty, or the overall attack strategy. It's something that the LFO is gonna have to look at, because right now this just comes down to they have to walk in and try and win gunfights, and Empire is literally one of the best, if not the best team, one of the best at just winning gunfights straight out.
Well, now you are. Flawless round from Team Empire as they play around the garage, and LFO just cannot find a way to open this. And honestly, this is okay.
His Jaeger, a good fit for him.
Okay. So Cade is in play. Okay, so same lineup coming out from LFO. I don't understand this lineup in the slightest. It makes zero sense to me, because it makes zero sense to me with what they've been going up against. They've shown that they are struggling to actually use this Monty effectively and back him up, because Monty by himself isn't going to do anything. Monty with a team can, but he almost never has had a team behind him. Then the double hard breacher is being run, but that's not going to do anything, because because the main, I'm trying to think. So with the Cade in play, there's no way for LFO to actively get the hatches now. 2 of these hatches are not going to be opened no matter what. And that just comes down to they have no way of actively getting rid of them. And that just comes down to they don't have the best lineup. And you know what? Here, I want to go. No, see, Maverick's not banned, so I don't understand why Maverick isn't in play when there is a Cade in play. It makes no sense to me, because you are over here and you're suddenly saying, okay, I hope that they don't get the one hatch we want for the push electrified, because if they do, well, goodbye push. Because if they're trying for a dirt push over here, then they want to have the kitchen hatch open so they can drop down, smoke from the hatch, plant the bomb, do whatever they want. If they are trying for a church push, then they want to have the moto hatch open, because the moto hatch can then because the moto hatch allows them to apply pressure onto this doorway, as well as, I mean, really it's just the hatch you get opened. You don't always need it open, that's for sure, but it can make life easier. So I'm not sure what the thought process is with LFO when they're just saying, let's run a Monty and double hard breacher, but we're not able to actively get rid of the hatches. So I don't understand it. But anyway, Joystick is on Vigil again. Shepard is on the Cade. Dan is on Legion. So really Joystick is on Vigil. Let's talk about the opposite a little bit. So Vigil is in play because Jaeger isn't. And it just comes down to Joystick likes roaming operators and being able to move around freely. So the impact grenades and similar playstyle let him do that. Then the Cade's in play to stop hatches from getting opened, as well as you can shoot out for this kitchen hatch. You can shoot out the right side of it, and there's actually like a cart on top of there, which is raised up a few inches on wheels. So you can throw an impact there and it will destroy any thermite or Hibana charge on the hatch. So you can impact trick the kitchen hatch. Then Dan is on Legion because Monty is in play, and he also gives a good amount of information with his gadget. Then the Echo's in play. I think they're expecting LFO to take longer in their push, so they're saying let's bring Echo. And then Maestro's in play for information, good gun, and just good amount of utility.
So he's going to try it again this round, setting up a rotate for his team as well with those 2 impacts. Just getting his job done.
Okay, no impacts for Empire. Well, Joystick has no impacts. I'm expecting Shepard and Dan to have them.
But they're doing a good job among all of them. Aces as well, doing well for LFO, but it's still looking pretty back and forth. This is about as balanced as we expected it. You know, you had a good early win for LFO, but then Empire came back and adjusted to it. I think this is going to be the theme, is a lot of back and forth the way we're seeing things.
But it's not surprising at all.
Now, one problem with this hold so far, these 2 rotates that were made, is you normally put someone inside of blue, behind the box, kind of where Scyther is. And you have to hard hold there with Jaeger. Well, not Jaeger, but with the Jaeger ADSs. Because without them, you can get grenaded very easily. So I'm not sure what Empire is going to do to actively stop the attackers from coming into blue.
Yeah, if that's the case, then we may see Empire defending every site twice. Because, you know, if they lose Church the first time here, then they'll do it again. And then at that point, they can go back to Cache without having to go to Gym.
This is the second most defensive-sided map that we have in the pool, right under Villa.
Tell TSM that.
So yes, that's a very good point. For normal people,
For normal teams.
that's how it goes. Not everybody has a Bolo on their team, okay?
I'm sure everyone...
Or a Pojo Man, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure everyone really wished, though. But either way, looking decent for Empire. And then LFO going to try the Monty again.
So Joystick just taking aggressive fights.
They know it, because of course it can't be Cache again.
So Hicks is entering through the master again. Now I'm not, well, not master, what am I talking about? No, Hicks is entering through the main door. Now I'm not sure if a roam clear was actually done by LFO where they know with absolute certainty that nobody's upstairs. Because if they don't, then this is a mistake. Well, actually no, it's not really, because Rise can be looking for a peek. Well, he can be looking to catch someone out, and he almost did on Joystick. Really, it was just Joystick took an aggressive fight. But it's also... really, I wish that Rise was investing more in helping the roam clear and less on the actual kind of holding this angle, because it's not going to stop any of the roamers from coming back because they can just go through garage. So I'm not sure exactly what Rise is doing here, and if the call gets made there in Cache, they're in garage, or they're in master, I'm not sure exactly what he's going to do.
But they're pretty good on this.
Okay, so Joystick is in that box position. Problem is he can get naded incredibly easily.
Still, again, the Legion, though, try and slow him down, and that was pretty effective last time because he just didn't want to walk to it. In fact, I'm almost surprised he didn't just walk in, take the goo mine to the foot, back out, take it out.
Okay, so right now this dirt hatch is electrified, and Alfama just threw a stun grenade. Well, okay, the hatch is electrified, so Alfama called over Corey to go help open it up. Now, the problem with what Alfama just did there with the stun grenade is they banned Jaeger. They should know Jaeger's banned. They should know that there's no Jaeger ADS there. So Alfama testing that, to me, is just kind of an oversight and just a little mistake, but it's also kind of a little mistake that can add up. Where, I mean, it's a wasted flash grenade. There's no point in throwing it. So I'm not sure. So I kind of wish that he didn't throw that and instead... Well, I wish he didn't throw it, but it's just a little oversight. It's a little kink that he hasn't worked out yet, and it's really, it's just kind of an oversight. That's all I can say. It's Alfama, his brain, he's probably missing small details, like the fact that Jaeger's banned and is just on autopilot mode where you're used to throwing a flashbang to test. How that's something that you need, the little details add up. Those little details can win or lose rounds.
Just to be able to suck up those goo mines, because it's so little damage that it's kind of worth doing just to clear them.
Yeah, you have to really be afraid of smokes usually to combo with the Legion, but since there's no smoke here, you're okay with it. Empire doubling down on running the Legion and, in this case, the Vigil. Drones being destroyed left and right by Joystick as he's on a mission. Grenade timed in the back. Left and right by Joystick as he's on a mission.
So a drone just came in right here, and a grenade is being thrown. If you throw that, if that drone had gone in, then Corey would know that that grenade isn't going to be useful.
Grenade timed in the back.
So that is a wasted grenade.
But apparently damaged Shepard.
And not a ton of...
Yes, he damaged Shepard for about 10 HP, but it's a grenade. You can do a hell of a lot more than 10 HP worth of damage.
It's unfortunate, as all the grenades have been expended. He's looking for an angle now to deny the church wall, but no one's playing it at the moment, so no freebies for him.
It's a great spot to use if you're trying to look all the way down to the...
So, kitchen hatch gets opened, which is really surprising to me, considering that Dan can be using his impact grenades. Well, with Shepard and Dan both having impact grenades, I don't see why the kitchen hatch should be getting opened. I mean, it shouldn't be. There's no reason for it to be, and I think this is an oversight from Empire.
Block box, and it's very difficult for defenders to deal with. I mean, it's not impossible, really. Joystick will try to come up through the oil pit here, at least scan around for any claymores or players that are up close to him.
Yeah, Joystick playing the oil.
So Monty, I think, knows that Joystick is down in oil pit, and I think this just comes down to he sprinted. You don't want to sprint on a flank, because that little bit of time that he sprinted for about a second, and that little second, I think, told Monty that he was there.
Whether it be their lineup just not having claymores available, or they're just not considering it something they have to worry about. I mean, there could be someone nearby that's covering it, or even a drone watching it instead. Hard to say as we can't see, but Monty, the one actually going to go, is he going to drop it?
Oh, no.
Oh, this would be interesting.
That's 2 kills. Oh!
So Hicks gets Joystick because he gave away his position, and that's all it came down to. Then Aces, the Hibana, wins the fight onto Dan. I have no idea where
the Joystick. Was that a hipfire play? Oh my, the changes are definitely not in, that's for sure. Scyther will have to fall into blue. Now it's a 3.
Trying to figure out what's going on, but everyone's changed positions.
This is taking half HP. Oh, Scyther just looking now.
So double peak coming out from the IQ and the Monty. I want to see more, but
oh my, the changes are definitely not in, that's for sure. Scyther will have to fall into blue. Now it's a 3v5. Ziz is taking half HP. Oh, Scyther just looking down everywhere.
So I don't think Scyther even knew that Hicks was in the oil pit, and he took a fight onto Rise, and he probably would have won that fight if Hicks wasn't there. But there was no information there. Maybe maybe he just didn't hear it. Maybe sound glitched. I don't know. Either way, he kind of had a bad peak, and it's kind of the reason why why Empires always seem strange when they try and run Echo, because they're a team that relies on peeking, and Echo is not a peeker. He's somebody who you want to have him safe in his own little corner.
Whereas Hicks will find another kill as he gets goo-mined. So something that'll
So Kozeka kills Aces.
Slow you for a moment. Aces
that was down dirt.
Move in from the dirt tunnel. Shepard is trying to lock things down. And
so this was bad from Monty. He flat out ignored the person playing inside of A. And now it's a very hard shot to hit. However, that's just an oversight where Monty's just saying, I'm going to ignore you. And you can't just do that. You can't just ignore it. Because it's possible for an angle to exist that if Shepard was playing more of an angle where instead of holding a 90-degree angle like this, I'm trying to figure out exactly. Well, let's basically, if the Monty, it has a shield here, and he was holding an angle like that, if he goes over for whatever reason, you could have an angle onto Monty's back, and because Monty paid no attention to him, he could have gone to kill.
Oh, he spots the back of the Monty. Kajeka solo on HP as well on the Maestro. With 10 seconds, you have to make every step count.
Double peek coming out.
Rise will find 1 kill, and the
nothing you can do.
Immediately be set down on the floor. Alphama.
1v4, you're not going to win it.
The evil eye is turned, but core. Count.
So, kind of where did things go wrong? So Joystick was found out, stayed in his position, and died a useless death. So he died there. Then I'm not sure about. I'm trying to remember if I saw how. Okay, yes, Shepard got double peeked. Nothing he can do. Dan died to the Hibana. I'm not sure if he took the fight in dirt or just ignored it or had no information. Either way, it would be good for him to just throw down a Legion, a goo mine inside of dirt to know if somebody is pushing there. Then Scyther takes a fight, gets double peeked, and then Karzeka is in a 1v4, and he's not going to win that. So really, LFO's doing a great job of double peeking everyone, and Team Empire is kind of relying on their ability to win gunfights in one-on-one situations to carry them. However, when they're not getting them, they struggle.
Rise will find 1 kill, and the diffuser will immediately be set down on the floor. Alphama holding down the plant as.
You always go back.
Now, Church Arsenal coming out again.
You're talking about how there wasn't a smoke?
So same lineup coming out from LFO. Then Empire, So they've managed to mess Empire up so much that they have thrown Joystick onto Smoke. Joystick is not a Smoke player. I I think this is the first time I've ever seen him on Smoke, or just not a Jaeger, basically. Because Joystick is known for his fragging ability. So the fact that LFO is pushing Empire and making them so uncomfortable that they have to put somebody onto they have to put their fragging operator onto Smoke, that's actually pretty big.
That is something that will help.
Then the Echo, which hasn't been useful for Empire so far, is still in play. I don't see why they don't just say drop him and run a Bandit, knowing that LFO has no Thatcher, or maybe run a shield so that the Cade can use so that the Cade can be protected from grenades inside of dirt. Where you put it near the drone hole, it can possibly stop the grenade from being thrown in. I mean, I'm not sure if that would work exactly, but that's still an idea. But either way, I'm not sure what the actual thought process is with the Echo, as it hasn't been too useful. Maybe even a Valkyrie, just so you can drop well, I'd say a Valkyrie, but with the IQ in play, this Echo isn't going to be able to be too useful, I think. Neither would be a Valkyrie, but at least with a Valkyrie, you could play a bit more aggressively, and you could also get a Nitro Cell. And so I'm really just curious as to what the thought process is with this Echo, because I haven't really seen a use for it, other than sometimes hitting the Monty, but you have a Smoke and a Legion in play for that. So I don't know.
So finally, they're looking for some more options besides the Goo Mines and the Yokai to be able to do some countering. I mean, if they can take out Hicks, I feel like a lot of this LFO attack starts to fall down. Like,
yeah.
It's just the pressure and the distraction that he forces on them kind of stops them from being able to crossfire for each other and cover for each other as well as they normally do. Because you can't stop the man just walking at you, and you have to watch multiple angles at that point, and you start to lose a lot of your anchoring advantage. So I have to wonder, though, is anyone going to go for the roam? Especially with Joystick, of all people, now going to be on what is typically an anchor operator.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Will he actually roam with it, or just play a bit more on site? Berserker had a good position last time, was actually playing pretty well from that dirt tunnel.
I think one of the rare times where we got to see Smoke roaming on this map was like back in WOG days.
Yeah, that was, his Oregon Smoke roams were kind of classic at that point. Good shot there. Was that on the road path?
Not sure, actually. I don't believe so.
Okay, I wouldn't think so, but never know. That might have just been the camera. Probably was just the camera.
So one thing is, if Empire decides to go for a roam here, and they don't show it, then they can probably do a good amount of damage for LFO, just because they can waste so much time, because they're not set up for a push right now. Corey's outside of kitchen, everyone else is outside of garage or main door, and that's not how you do a proper roam clear. Because now you'd have to switch people's positions around. So I think Empire, that's something that you just have to notice, something you just have to look in. Especially on this map in ranked games, you can, if you watch on your first basement defense whether or not the attackers go straight for kitchen, or they do an actual roam clear, then you can really hurt them. Just with a Mozzie or with a Mute, where if you take one of them upstairs and they don't want to drone, and they want to just rely on drones rather than actually going up there, then that can really hurt them. Or maybe even you just hide up there. It doesn't matter. But you can do that, and it can be really dangerous, because you can just wait until 40 seconds are left and go for a late flank.
There's 2 cameras down. Didn't have to use the edge to spot that one.
So, Empire doubling down this time. Instead of playing outside of the site or even in blue, they're going to put the majority of their players instead of Church and Armory and really just play the defense. This allows LFO to have complete map control. Church usually is the defenders giving away map control to the attackers, right? You don't always have the possibility to play against it. And when you do want to do that, you end up putting a lot of resources and a lot of operators to play the top floor, and it's not something that many teams can do and consistently.
Well, you're not going to do it against a
Oh, okay. So that first grenade from last round, thrown out by Corey, which I thought was meant to kill the Cade, is actually used to get rid of the Cade on the hatch. So that's actually really, I think that's actually kind of neat. Now, the one problem with that is I think if you throw up a barricade on the door, it's not going to work, just based off of the bounce of the grenade. So that's like some small adaptation that could be made from Empire if they know this is how they're clearing out the Cade.
Sure. Well, they are going to get some hatches open, and so it's going to be interesting to see whether or not which they use the thermite for. They could open up that dirt tunnel as well if they want to put additional pressure onto the Maestro and dirt tunnel if he's still playing that, because that was something a bit of a problem last time. Although it could be the smoke playing down there. It looks like actually might be Dan on the Legion potentially playing dirt tunnel, which is a great operator to take advantage.
This is actually kind of neat, using the grenades to clear out the Cades. And it is kind of neat. Now, the one thing I don't like about it is that you can still just impact trick the kitchen hatch, and I kind of wish Empire was doing that, because there's not too much vertical pressure coming out with the holes that were made.
Into the goo mine.
A lot of times you'll see both Smoke and Legion also kind of comboing together inside of Dirt Tunnel if there's an assault coming from there. And an LFO might actually try that as it did before. The Habana has already expended her utility, and you can have her walking in from the back. Nobody dropped just yet as we hit the minute point. Yeah, Alfama has droned in, so Dirt Tunnel is open. LFO really being one of the few teams that still continues to do this multi-pronged pressure so effectively. Habana's been used on the church wall. Scory is holding down all the way down to green in the hallway. Higgs has some barbed wire in front of him, but more smoke will be popped right in his face. So yeah, it is.
So 2 smokes have been used so far. And in all honesty, that's not terrible because there's 36 seconds left. And if Joystick holds off on the last smoke, then he can be really dangerous with it. Just because he doesn't even have to throw it at the Monty, he can just throw it, say, probably right around here, just basically to the left of this big cabinet, and it'll affect so much of the general area here that Monty will struggle to push in, and then Joystick can actually get out of there and go for a fight somewhere else, or he can still hard hold behind the box.
Well, hopefully he's in a place where he can set up some goo mines to help cover it as well, because if that Monty starts to get in and puts pressure, he's definitely going to have to be able to try and fight that. Well, Bengals and Dan does get a kill on Ace.
Okay, so Aces dies, that's the Hibana. I'm not sure where she was. Then Corey dies, you just see it right here. That wasn't that good of a peek. I mean, you trying to crawl your way to an angle is never the right answer, I think. And it was a bad call from Corey.
Aces, there's the kill on the Corey as well, so that's not the Monty yet, but that is a 5v3 now. Now they have the
Alfama dies to Cade, I think. Wait, how did he die?
The Monty yet, but that is a 5v3 now. Now they have the crossfires they need as Alfama falls.
I have no idea who downed him.
This is working out for Empire again. The second try.
Arzeka has to run into a crossfire.
Let's try.
There you go. Everybody
and crossfires for everyone.
Empire flawless. No extra drone pressure. Nobody really getting info on what's the lockdown from Empire and LFO.
So this is Empire reading into how LFO is pushing. Now, what I'm curious about is you see all of this vertical pressure being applied inside of Kitchen. However, the push isn't actually going through Kitchen. It's a split push through, I believe, it was Dirt? No, I think he changed. I don't think anyone actually came from Dirt. I think the Thermite backed out. Actually, it could have been the Hibana again, but I'm not sure. But anyway, the problem is that I think LFO is using their utility to they're spraying it out too much. Where, think about this, if instead of using the utility to open up the kitchen hatch with the grenade, why not use that to clear out the smoke playing behind blue? Because, well, playing inside of blue. Because if you can clear out that smoke, Monty can push. You can then go and you've cleared out blue. You can then take the fights on anybody inside of church. You can be going for a church wall push, and from there you can effectively take church, collapse on the enemy and hold them inside of the arsenal room, and then go for the plant. However, and that's just with what one grenade could do. But instead, LFO has decided they wanted to open up the kitchen hatch, even though the push is coming from blue and from Moto. So I'm not sure exactly what the thought process is with using the second grenade to get the kitchen hatch, because it doesn't seem like something that would. It seems like you choose either you want to go for one bomb site or the other, and very rarely, really you decide between one bomb site or the other, and you don't want to invest all of the utility and manpower to try and open up both. It's why you either have a church take or an arsenal take. It's why you have either a console take or an admin take on consulate. It's why you, for the cache defense here, you either do a garage push to go for the server room, or you do a master take in order to go for the cache room. You don't want to invest the manpower and utility to go for both, because then you're going to be leaving gaps for the other push. So it's kind of like this, where if that one grenade killed the smoke, then that would have wasted a lot less time. They would have been able to push down blue faster. They could have been throwing multiple bodies on the Cade, playing inside of church, win the fight there. They then could have boxed the defenders into the arsenal room, and then they could have just gone for the plant. So I'm not sure not sure exactly what the thought process is with the split push, because they have no reason to open up kitchen hatch. Yes, it applies a little bit of pressure, but it's not actually pressure that's really going to affect the team too much. It kind of forces them to move a little bit, but they're not really feeling the pressure of getting killed, and it would be better to use your utility in other areas.
I talked about before, you have to go to it, or you can go to it.
Now, CCTV coming out again.
Empire losing one,
same lineup coming out from LFO, and
flustering on the second.
Joystick is off the smoke and back onto the vigil. I kind of wish he stayed on the smoke, because the smoke, in my opinion, is what won Empire that round, as well as not losing Dan early. Well, not early, but losing Dan with no refrag. But anyway, you're bringing the double wall denial, Maestro and Legion. However, with the IQ, I don't think the Legion's going to be too effective. It's not that I don't think, it's that the IQ can counter it, and really anyone can counter it, because all these people are playing on very low settings, and they can see goo mines relatively easily. So I'm not sure what the thought process is with the Legion. Well, not with the Legion, but with only the Legion, because Legion himself isn't really going to change much, and you can't just rely on one goo mine to stop a Monty push, because a good Monty will say, okay, you're just going to throw one Legion trap down. I'll take that. I will tank that, and my team, I'll have 3 guys behind me all ready to gun you down while you're staring at me.
The struggle here for Empire is if they can win.
And it's going to be the same cookie cutter defense coming out.
The back and forth adaptation, but get a second chance at Jim if that ends up happening. But hey, chances are the way things are going back and forth with the countering each other, we might see this go LFO's way, and then a final attempt on Cash could go Empire's way, but that's just the pattern so far. Certainly doesn't necessarily predict how things will go, but I do like to see the back and forth between these teams. Good coordination there between both the Habana and the Thermite to open up as much of this garage as possible, but that is what offered up the kill to Joystick last time. So you've got to be careful and conscious of him.
So wall gets open.
He is going to be playing that spot again.
Once again, this angle, I really wish that LFO used this angle. I really did. Just rappel upside down, go for the fine Joystick, double peek him, one from here, one from the open wall. You're probably going to get that kill.
Predictable or not, he's not being punished.
Also, it's a little curious that there are Joystick has impacts, Shepard can have impacts, and Krozeka probably has impacts, and no one's trying to impact trick this wall. Because you can impact trick this, and it will, the Thermite won't be able to open it. So I'm curious as to why they're electing not to.
How do we deal with those?
Yeah, I don't see Alfama hitting that shot.
Good player, but Man.
Yeah, it's an angle loopy.
And the Air-C as well being activated, it makes it even tougher. It'll be spotted and actually crouch peeks.
Joystick takes the fight, somehow doesn't get shot, and actually does damage.
Actually throws.
Joystick is just one of the most mechanically skilled players in this game. So if you aim at his head level, he'll peek crouch. You aim crouch, he'll peek head. He just is constantly adapting, and he knows how to take a fight.
Done a tiny bit of damage onto Corey.
I like this play by Corey, pinching him now. Forcing him to dedicate himself to this.
Then he gets killed. Ooh,
And then get
was
punched
that
by
through the
Aces.
Hibana?
Oh, Aces, what a play.
I want to see when that was open. Okay, so it's opened right here. Joystick flat out ignores it and just he messes up.
To the lounge and has the wall, or had the wall to his advantage. It's great clear. LFO understanding how to go through this, and now because they have the Monty, things should go back easier. And reverse repel will be played, which is usually what makes the intro into Garage much easier for the attackers, but extremely frustrating for the defense, as you know there's a player up there, but you can't really see him at all.
Good old upside down repel. Normally I'd question why you play Elysian Rafters, but with Monty in play, it makes the most sense of everything. More so even than Smoke, I think. Especially since you get 8 goo mines as opposed to 3 smokes, but he's gonna get caught out by this upside down repel.
So Krozek is just getting pressure and is trying to move. And I think he had a grenade thrown at him. I think he has a Monty looking at him, and I think he has Hibana shooting him. Now, if I go back,
makes the most sense of everything.
what I'm really curious about is why Monty isn't just pushing here. I think he just needs to make a call and say, okay, I'll tank 2 goo mines. I'll go down to 40 HP, because then we can clear Garage. We clear Garage. We can open up the wall. We open up the wall. We have Garage control. We can go for the plant.
More so even than Smoke, I think. Especially since you get 8 goo mines as opposed to 3 smokes, but he's gonna get caught out by this upside down repel at some point. However,
Yeah, Dan kills Corey. There goes the... Dan is below. Let's see. So Dan's below.
delays happening.
Not sure where
Dan
Corey
takes
was,
down
but...
Corey, this is still working out, although the Monty now pushing up 2 goo mines in his near future.
Now, Karzek needs to be really worried about this impact grenade, because if it destroys these goo mines, then that can really hurt him, because he needs those goo mines in order to really just stop the Monty.
Hopefully, he doesn't kill them with his own impact nade.
Shepard locking down as well. Look at that long angle that he's using. Monty's going to stick in place, and the impact grenade will be thrown. It will barely do anything to Hicks here. There's still a decent chunk of time. More damage done to Karjeka.
Now, the next thing I want to talk about is this Maestro cam. Because right now, IQ, and I think Hibana as well, we're both down in Garage. So I really wish that this camera was moved more over this general area so that it could see below. Because if Karzeka knows, hey, somebody's trying to take the fight on you from below, then he really is going to have to be worried about where he positions himself. Because he doesn't want to get shot through something like the bars. So he knows that he has to stay low. And maybe that means backing up so you have this 90-degree railing around, basically this railing around here protecting him. But that's just some information that is really, it's little information, but it can be very vital to you in order to know whether or not you can or can't go somewhere. Because if the wall, cache wall over there is open, then you can't play half this railing area. If you know that it is actually closed still, then you can play the railing area however much you want, because you don't have to be worried about getting shot through the wall.
As an extra impact grenade will be thrown, and Hicks will take a tiny bit more damage. But again, the explosive resistance on those shields is pretty darn massive, but you need to deal with Karjeka. Hicks,
now, Hicks kills Karzeka. I mean, he was going to die at some point. 40 seconds left, so not the worst job in the world. However, it just comes down to there was no real... Well, I'd say there was no real crossfire, but I'm trying to think. It comes down to there's nothing to stop the Monty besides the lesions. You have to have either... I say you have to have lesions on the bottom of the staircase in order to stop the Monty, but really, I'd say it just comes down to you need a smoke. And with no smoke in play, it's not really changing much.
Finally, find the opening here, and there's the Evil Eye right on the floor to deal with the Monty in this play. The instant he turns in and gets goo mined, He'll be fired upon from the back, and there'll be Shepard firing into it. But no, actually, Shepard is all the way back, and the Evil Eye will be lost. So Scyther now is without information. Empire will have to rely on pure frag power.
So Aces goes down.
But no, actually, Shepard is all the way back, and the Evil Eye will be lost.
Not sure
Scyther
where.
now is without information.
My best is going in for a light flank through the master area.
Empire will have to rely on pure frag power to win this one around. Oh,
Shepard hits a nice shot. However, I'm questioning this because I'm questioning why is Monty not just using his smokes to cut off this angle? And then why is Rise actually peeking that angle? Because there's no real need for it. If the Monty can cut off the angles, then I'm trying to explain this. It's if Monty can cut off the angles, then Shepard doesn't hit that shot. It still is going to be a 3 versus 3 with Aces being killed and Corey already dead. Then the wall gets opened, so that should really be the first thoughts of Hicks and Rise is getting the wall open so that Alfama can come in and plant. Then the Monty would then smoke both of the doorways, and from there it would turn into LFO just holding angles and Empire having to run through.
oh, the shot from Shepard as Dan finds Aces. 3v2 with the Thermite and the Monty left alive. The Monty will have to get up close and personal as he takes a bit more damage. 44 mag is
Because I don't think the wall ever got opened here.
in hand as Dan rotates in from behind. Shepard will find one kill.
Alfama manages to get a knife onto Shepard, where, I mean, that's just,
Can he go it?
that's kind of ridiculous,
No, it's
but...
Scyther. Walks back into the site.
No, okay, so the wall never got opened. And that's step 1 of taking the cash attack. So I'm really questioning this Hibana choice for the cash attack. Because why are they trying to take it in such a roundabout way that they can't even open it half the time? And why not just bring a Maverick and spend 30 seconds where they Maverick top, Maverick bottom, bucket out, great, wall is now open. Because that just seems like a really, really big mistake coming out from LFO, where they can't even seem to open up the garage wall. Not the garage wall, the cash wall.
There we go. Still inside. Goes for a quick peek. And then the second as he hears his teammate being knifed. Empire will hold the round, but I have to say, LFO's clear of joystick.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
At this point, I would say pick up a Twitch just to do the job of the Thatcher.
They kind of just stalled.
The upside for joystick, though, is it took them so long to pull that off, and Corey wasn't even able to push cleanly.
Alright, so Gym Bedroom coming out. I think Empire's just trying to throw LFO off a bit. Now, I personally don't like... Okay, well, never mind, you're not going to throw anyone off. So... Okay, so Castle is really only run on the Master Defense. Now, yes, he's run a few times on Cash. However, 95% of the time, it's on a Master Defense. So showing the Castle shows that Empire is going to Gym Bedroom. So I don't like that they're showing him. I would prefer it if they showed the Mozzie and then sixth picked from someone else into the Castle. Because this, I mean, showing Castle, in my opinion, isn't going to do. It's just saying, yeah, make sure you switch from Hibana to Sledge. And that's it. That's all that it says. So I really wish that they didn't show the Castle and instead showed Mozzie. Because right now LFO is expecting to go to Master. And if they showed a Castle and then sixth picked off of the Castle, they'd picked Arsenal Room, showed Castle, and then sixth picked off of the Castle, that could really throw LFO off because they're not sure if a Castle is actually in play, or hell, even just keep the Castle. Because if there's only one hard breacher and you have to attack the basement, that can really hurt the attack. And that's kind of the mind game you can play. But showing the Castle is showing your hand. It's saying, yeah, we're going here. So I really don't like that. Then, with that, Sledge is in play because Castle is in play. And that's another 2 sets of grenades, which can really hurt Empire. So I'm trying to figure out I need to see what Empire is going to do to actually stop this, because there's no way they can stop the wall from being opened. Actually, you know, it really depends on how the grenades are used. But with that, Empire, they 6-picked from a Vigil to a Mozzie, which doesn't make sense to me. Just show the Mozzie. I mean, it's not an amazing op. He's a good operator, but he's not. You can use him wherever you want. You could use him. I would expect Mozzie to be used more on the basement than on the master. So I'm not sure why they're electing to bring Mozzie here and not anywhere else. Then Shepard is on smoke to stop the Monty. Castle from Dan to cut off some angles. Bandit and Cade to stop the walls from getting opened, even though they probably will get opened.
A great adaptation from Empire in terms of just delay. You're going to bring a Monty? Fine. We're not going to let him up until like the last 30 seconds is he going to try and get into the site. When at that point, most of your team members around him are dead, and you just...
Okay, I'll actually be back in a second. I'll go get some water. Okay, so let's see. Can you see this? Yes. Okay, so I'm back. So with that, rotate a hole here, wall here. I think the point of this wall here is to cut off angles from outside through there to behind the A-bomb. However, in all honesty, I'm not 100% sure.
To make it work, but also Shepard getting the pick onto the Monty was pretty good. Playing that ring around the Rosie and pulling out the ACOG pistol was a nice way to finish off Fix, who unfortunately just was looking the wrong way at the wrong time because he couldn't look both ways at once. So great play there, but ultimately it is still only 1 point advantage here for Empire with the back.
Right, so cash defense coming out from Empire. Now, well, okay, I say cash defense. It's a cash hold. Because you need to hold cash if you want to effectively hold master, because if you don't hold cash, then the attackers can just get on this balcony area and just jump into sight a lot of the time.
Back and forth, but...
No, hard holding it with 5 reinforcement. I think there's even a 6th here. I'm trying to think about this because... Okay, the one problem with this defense here comes for the Thermite. Because Thermite will spend 1 charge to open up that wall, and then we'll have 1 more left. So with that, this wall is normally what you use it on. Problem is that that is soft, so you can just send the buck over to open up with a sledge, doesn't even matter, or even the IQ with breaching charges, doesn't matter. So with that, you open up the wall, and once that wall is opened, the thermite can come and actually put the thermite charge on the floor there as it's destructible, and that can open up this wall, which forces players out and can create and can allow for picks to happen. So it's I really wish that there was a, well, it's not that I'm trying to think. There's no right answer. There is a way to get rid of one of these walls, not entirely, but partially. So Empire does have to be worried about that, and Empire, LFO is going to have to just be looking for that, recognizing that they can in fact open this wall.
Jim could be where we see, get the back and forth the other direction, and LFO take Jim. They're going to stick with the Monty, continuing to play it every round, because while it hasn't succeeded for them every round, it certainly made a dent. Oh, I like the new castle helmet.
Yeah, I didn't buy it yet, I have to say.
Yeah.
But it did look pretty great.
Pricey.
When are we gonna have Veli in the game? Dude, if Veli cosplayed Castle, he's buff as hell, dude.
Yeah.
He can do it. Veli, where are you at?
Let's do it.
Maestro and Castle. Let's go.
So
Yeah,
cash push coming out from LFO first.
You got the body for it.
Not the hair though. Corey gonna
wig.
open.
Yeah, so one thing is that LFO has to recognize somebody could be playing Garage, and they do need someone there. Not someone there, but they need to make sure it's droned. Right now, Corey checking this angle tells me he's not sure if somebody is actually playing that angle, which just comes down to bad droning coming out from LFO.
Try and take from the server side. No surprise there, really, but the Monty's definitely going to help with that because they can just push across. And I wonder, how long can they delay them here in Cache and Connector before they're able to just push all the way up to the doorway of the bedroom? Joystick is going to have to make a pretty sweet flank here. Now, he's probably going to be expecting to try and to get the jacuzzi shot, the run out that is for jacuzzi. But I don't know if they're going to be on that spot yet.
There you go.
I don't know if they're playing for that just yet because they're more focused on pushing here. What?
Okay. So this is one before. This hole is what I'm talking about, where you put it on the floor and it opens this up. Now,
I don't know if they're playing.
This is a mishap from, this is just an oversight from LFO,
For that just yet,
where, hold on, I see IQ droning, Thermite droning, and is Buck droning?
I don't know if they're going to be on that spot yet.
Show me the drone, Buck.
For that just yet,
Buck is droning. So 3 people are droning the exact same area, nobody's watching, and Karzeka just comes out going, I wonder if anyone's around here. Now, one thing is I don't understand why Karzeka is using a suppressor. All that does is take away damage from a gun. It makes it have worse recoil, and it provides no real benefit to yourself. Because at this level, you very rarely die to someone you don't know the position of, and it comes down more to just losing a gunfight.
They're more focused on pushing here. What?
All right, Thermite dead. That is a really big kill because now the jacuzzi wall is not going to get open.
All right, freebie on diffuse carrier.
Almost gets a second one. And I'm wondering whether or not there would have been a down if if Karzeka wasn't using a suppressor. These suppressors take off a lot of damage. And to me, it looks like Corey took 2 hits. I'd say he took 2 hits, and there's a good chance that Karzeka wins that fight if he didn't have a suppressor.
Almost a second. Corey just barely on top of it. Low health now.
One shot landing right into Corey, but losing the Thermite in this situation is not as big of a deal.
It's a pretty big deal because this isn't open. Because this isn't open, your ways to get into the rooms are jumping through windows or walking through doorways. And you have no real way of pushing them out of this area where Scyther is. And if you can't push them out of this area, then that can really hurt them. Will really hurt the attack because you can flank from all the different angles. As a defender, you can go through through Jim, because this is I think 11 hit it and it takes 12 to break, so you can hit it once and go in. You could go through the bathroom. You could go through the hallway. From that hallway, you could decide if you want to go through either the doorway at the end of the hallway leading to Master, or you could possibly go into that office area. If there's a rotate hold there, I'm not sure if there is.
Play was to come in from that construction position.
Well, important thing though,
Yes.
no second hard breacher. Jacuzzi wall
Exactly.
still solid. So
Aces was playing a switch to the sledge off of the Habana, so the strategy coming into this round from Adler's team was already.
Joystick gets droned out and a pinch comes down. Rise, I think, came from garage, went down to the oil pit area, walked down blue, and was just holding an angle.
To come in from cash and hold on to the windows. So it makes sense when you look at the entire context, of course.
Joystick shut down, unfortunately, on his roam play. So 4-3 now. With the Monty still in play, that's usually on his.
It makes sense
Trying
when
to
you look
see-
at the entire context, of course.
Joystick shut
I'm not sure what the point of that grenade was.
down,
I'm really
unfortunately,
not.
on his roam play. So 4-3 now. With the Monty still in play, that's you definitely want to have a numbers advantage. But they still have smoke. No lesion, though. So it's going to be a lot on Shepard to try and delay Hicks. Although, to be fair, they still are stuck over on the cash side right now. No one trying to cross-connect. There's just kind of the no man's land, but Rise will set up the crossfire so Hicks can walk in and Corey can drone into logistics. Now Shepard found. So they got the information they need. Scyther's going to have
A good grenade coming out from Aces on the Shepherd. That's a really big kill because that's a smoke. With that, I would say this round is over because it's a 4v2 and there's no way to stop this Monty.
Aces takes down Shepard. Monty's got a free pass, but
Dan gets a kill.
Corey dies.
It's a big clear now in the secret stash, but Dan will find Corey. That's the window again. You're not supposed to run into the window. You're supposed to use that as a late round play. Dan, low on HP here and taken away by Rob.
Dan goes down.
The diffuser should get set pretty easily. There's a nitro cell left in the back pocket, and Hicks will go for a plant. Is there any info through things? There's not a Maestro Evil on anywhere.
No information.
The nitro cell
Okay.
will not connect. Hicks will now
It's over.
stand.
So really, I'd say this just comes down to two things. The first, Karzeka lost the gunfight on the Buck. Now, if he got that kill, it would have been an Empire round, I believe. Then Joystick got caught out on the roam, and that was just a good job. That was just a good job from LFO for just recognizing it and killing him. Then Shepard dying to that grenade is really what sealed it, where with him dead, no way to stop a Monty, no way to stop the pushes, and it's probably over.
He can't.
But
Of course,
that's
the other
really not too much to talk about, really. It just came down to LFO played it better than Empire did. Now with that, side switch. So it's a church and arsenal room.
I feel like the switch over to the C7E helped. Like he just wasn't doing great on
Okay, here we go.
CPW, was it?
So with that,
PDW.
for LFO, they are on the defense. They're going cash. They're going arsenal downstairs. They're running the Cade to get to control hatches. They're running smoke just because it's a smoke. They're running mute and Mozzie to stop drones. Those two together stop a lot of drones, and then rises on the Echo. So with that, Empire, so one thing I want to point out is that through 6 rounds of Echo being in play, he has yet to be useful for Empire. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not LFO can use him effectively. Whether or not they can use him effectively. Because just because you're running an Echo doesn't mean he's going to be useful. So now with that, Empire, they're running the exact same lineup they normally do, with the Joystick on the Jackal, Shepard on the Thermite, Dan on Zofia, Karzeka on the Hibana. However, with no Thatcher in play, Scyther is on Maverick to do Thatcher's job. And that's just the small adaptation they made. And from what I assume will happen is Joystick is going to enter somewhere around the Master. I think Karzeka is going to go somewhere around this hatch. Then the other 3 are going to go over to cash, and that's how they're going to do a roam clear. And they're going to do that every single time.
Personal defense.
I'm not super great at gun names.
No.
It's not my thing.
No. But here you go. I mean, C70, PDW, whatever you want. Honestly, he's been doing good work.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. Yeah, sure, you have one map where it doesn't really work too well, but it's all right. I don't think that's something that can be weighing too heavily on someone with his pedigree at this point in time. But maybe that Jackal won't be as instrumental as we imagine it to be. Again, this is playing Clubhouse. You're attacking downstairs in church. How effective will it be? That's going to be the big
Okay,
question.
so upstairs defense coming out from LFO. They're gonna try to hard hold cash. It's all that they can. They kind of have to, because you can't hold master area. Garage is, you can hold around there, but normally you don't have the manpower to. So cash is normally what you reinforce and hold to waste time.
This is cool from LFO. It's an attempt. Doesn't always work, but
Now, why this wall is reinforced? I don't understand that. Actually, no, I do. That is a direct counter to how Joystick pushes this. The problem, though, is Joystick can literally just jump into this window. So it's not too big of a counter.
Oh, there we go. Catching one drone.
I think he already had that one. And then just set up a redundant pest, maybe?
Now maybe he was trying to catch the other one. Oh, whatever it may be.
He's trying to catch them all.
Unless with your impact grenades.
That's true.
So here we are. Start up the round with Empire's first attack. They're bringing the Jackal. Dan realizing, okay, well, they reinforced, which means they're going to be playing more roam play. See, the hatch is seen as soft. So Empire know there's going to be roam at the top floor. Obvious here from LFO, but this burns so much time away from Empire. And if the Russians cannot grab kills as LFO are retreating back to church, it's not bueno.
Interesting. Usually people do the top and the bottom, but I think you just did the top in 2 rows, and that worked. But yeah, it's funny that rather than deal with trying to fight the server window on the side, oh, nice pick.
So Joystick takes the fight, wins it on Corey. And it just comes down to you can't hold inside a master effectively, and Corey tried to take a fight with no cover, so he loses it.
Yeah, it's funny that rather than deal with trying to fight the server window on the side, oh, nice pick there on the Corey. Joystick hunting down the operator. He was just playing.
Not sure why a smoke was just used there.
Rather than bother with the cash server window, they just instead go with Maverick. Joystick just barely not getting that kill, but he gets to get in at least thanks to the smoke.
So Hicks is just running around downstairs. I have no idea what he was doing, and Karzeka catches him off. I'm not even sure why Karzeka is there. Either way, Hicks just gets gunned down.
Karzeka also getting down Hicks. That is now the Kaid down. So looking pretty good here for this to happen. Obviously, they lost some drones to Mozzie, but now Mozzie not being alive, they can drone a little bit more freely.
And they also won't have to worry about many reinforcements downstairs. That's really another big deal. The hatches are all safe and sound. Scyther can instantly drop them because they're so soft, and that's one drone. And the second, they're being destroyed.
2 drones joining the same relative area is a bit of a mistake, because both of them were droned, and you learn that Smoke was downstairs by the main stairs, and then he just ran away. So it's not really the best use of him of the drones in my opinion, because all that information is now old, and it'd be better just to put 1 drone down there and then go from there, apply some vertical pressure, and have Smoke pushed out from that.
Definitely will help LFO as the round progresses, and with no EMPs, it's going to take you even more time to run the Maverick correctly and open up these hatches if that's really the play for you. Overall, the strategy for LFO has at least burned time, but will it be effective? Big question. Dan doesn't have any stun lifelines left, so Schmutz out of the question.
Yeah, not great. They are going to at least be able to track some of the players down potentially. Although the Mute Jammer, the one counter to Jackal in just the right spot. He's going to be able to catch Smoke, though. That's not the biggest help right now. You really want to track Echo, so you have some idea where he's playing at. Shepard, though.
Echo taking an aggressive fight. I disagree with this because it's an Echo. Loses it. I mean, you're not going to win that fight with an Echo most of the time. And it was a 2-on-1, so not a smart fight from Echo, I think. Then Alfama gets killed. That was the Smoke. I'm not sure where he was.
All on his own. He's got 5 to face off against. He'll find 1 kill.
Wins the first fight.
The hatch is open near him. He'll pre-fire into the wall, but you're going to run out of SMG bullets at some point in time. But the fuser's not been planted just yet. Empire's taking his time. Nitro cell's been thrown. But Karjeka peeks around the corner, gets the head.
So this just came down to, it was a failed roam coming out from LFO, and it was cut apart from, I really would say that it was cut apart by joystick, where with the first kill onto Mozzie, that required the, well, not didn't require, but the K decided to drop down and then go back to sight, and when he was doing that, he ended up getting caught out from the Hibana,
So Ace is dead. Empire.
which turned into a 5v3.
However, the same lineup, really.
Now, cash defense coming out as LFO realized, okay, we probably can't hold Arsenal, at least with that strategy. Now, exact same lineup coming out from Empire. They'll run one lineup on this map. They've run one lineup for like 6 months straight. Then LFO, Mozzie, Legion, so stop some drones and get some info from the Legion, Hicks and so Cade and Bandit to stop the wall from getting opened. However, with the Maverick in play, it's going to get opened. Then Echo's in play, and we just have to wait and see whether or not he's effectively used. It just comes down to how good the team is at stalling out the attackers.
For the most part, the difference being the smoke for the Legion, if I remember correctly. Or there was a mute as well, so it was mute and smoke, I think. But now there will be Bandit and Legion. I can imagine they're going to go for the same clear of the wall using the Maverick, although it's kind of funny, they bring 3 hard breachers. Rarely do we see that on Clubhouse, and rarely do we see all 3 brought when it happens, but that's a lot of redundancy, and to me, that tells me that wall is definitely not going to last.
No, that's for sure. That is for sure. You're bringing all the heavy artillery.
Just do it quickly, though. Get it out of the way quickly, as fast as you can, and so you can start playing with the rest of it. That's, again, redundant pest. Oh no, he switches it up.
Honestly, it's like casting with you in a nutshell.
Yeah. Pest?
No, the entire sentence. See, I get a return as well.
Wow.
I know, impressive.
Get your little certificate of completion.
Impressionante, Devin. There you go. I miss it, Italian. Man, I don't know if the Brazilians are gonna be in Raleigh. I really hope so.
I would hope so too.
I would hope so. I mean, it makes sense.
I know it's a little bit of a pain for them to get a visa sometimes to go to America as well, but hopefully.
Hey man, if I can get a visa for America, literally anybody can.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Here we are though.
So, basic push coming out from Empire. They do the exact same push every single time. They're probably going to open up cash wall, have one person hold the angle there, and then have everyone else go push from workshop. It's what they normally do. They normally ignore the garage completely. So I'm not sure what this is. Maybe it's, I'm really not sure. I don't think I'd recognize it, but this could have been a failed nitro cell. It could have been an impact thrown for a late flank. I'm not sure.
Also, as you mentioned earlier on the broadcast, they have gotten done and they're playing all together in Austria. As you speak, not sure where in Österreich, but here we go. Empire have cleared out the bedroom and they have identified the bandit.
Should have wiped his feet. Look at this. What a mess.
That's why you have a mudroom.
Yeah, exactly. There should be one in Clubhouse. And, people are coming in dirty feet. Bandit again tracked. He is definitely not going to be able to just do what he wants. So he's going to continue to get pinged, but they can't really do much about him right now, unfortunately. They brought 3 hard breachers and not a Thatcher. So they're definitely going to have to clear those batteries. But there's a Kaid as well, and impact tricking. So, I don't know. This is definitely going to be a little bit of back and forth on these walls.
Now, surprising that this wall hasn't been opened yet. And it's just a mistake coming out from Scyther.
Try and finish off this.
I don't think Scyther is the Maverick main. I'm just going to put it like that. Because he's been struggling to get this wall open. And it's been nearly 2 minutes, and that is a big mistake. If you don't know, if you want to just open up a wall, Maverick the top of it, Maverick the bottom of it. You don't Maverick the bottom first, because if you do that, then you have to rappel upside down, and that's more of a pain. It's easier just repel top, lay down, repel? No, not repel. Maverick the top. Look down, Maverick the bottom. While it gets soft, open it up. It takes 10 seconds.
It's a little bit late, though, to be doing this. Probably should have been done earlier in the round, because you want them watching their back as soon as possible. Makes it harder for them to fight against a connector here, especially with Joystick trying to do some work from the gym bedroom side.
So Shepard is now sitting outside, and this is a lot of time being burned off. I have to bring Shepard back, and the wall was not completely opened up.
Well, that was risky.
That's
So this is the Maverick messing up, and Shepard, I mean, he shouldn't be able to get a thermite charge down just because he'll get shot.
okay.
I
Fair
don't
enough.
think he knew.
No, Aces will find Kajeka. A great start. A second one.
So there goes Aces, well, not Aces, there goes Joystick and Hibana.
No, Aces will find Kajeka. A great start.
They peaked.
A second
They
one for Aces.
Joystick and Krozeka peaked. Aces won the fight.
He's now whipping around and finding another kill, possibly. At herself from Corey. Connect.
Then Scyther goes down, gets killed.
Sound to Scyther as Shepard finally takes him out. The damage has already been done. Dan is going to be walking up, and his position has been revealed. He walks right up next to his opponent. Alphama dispatches Dan. Shepard is lost alive as Empire is completely mismanaged around. The Bandit taking a bit of damage, but Aces is just out for blood. And the round is pretty much lost for Empire's goo mine. Stuck in.
Okay, so this round just came down to Team Empire tried to peek everything, and they got shut down. That's it. I mean, really, there's not much else to talk about because they really struggled to open up the wall. Because they couldn't open up the wall, the Maverick couldn't go and help open up the. He didn't go and help open up the workshop wall either. And because those walls aren't getting open, not as much pressure is being applied to the members of LFO, and they can just run around site looking for fights.
Aces. Another. Man.
The back and forth continues.
Maurice with the traditional carry. He's out there and
Windows. Smart.
Alright, so Workshop coming out, not Workshop, what am I talking? No, Master coming out from LFO. Let's see, it's the Cade Bandit Legion again. They're running Castle, and then Corey is on Maestro.
We talked about that before.
But nothing really strange.
I think it was the NA quals. Well, also they're making those kinds of adjustments. So opening those basically for free, as long as you don't get yourself shot, you can upside down repel, or just try and a little more risky, do it from the same level. Upside down repel, take that one out. Rise just put up as well.
Not sure entirely about this one. I understand the purpose is so you don't get shot from outside around here. And it's very rarely do you actually get shot from out there. So maybe it's just that's something they're worried about. Because really the only important one you care about is that castle. All the other ones you can just throw around because they normally go on windows and the sledge comes and gets rid of them. And I'm not sure why Empire decided to drop one hard breacher for the sledge. Just because, well, I mean, they technically have two, so it's not weird.
But that's to allow them to try and play more freely on the stairs, and that's why you want to open it up.
It's
though.
just
You
more
don't
I'm treating
necessarily
Maverick
just
as
open it because
the
it costs
Thatcher
basically
for
nothing, the
Empire.
sledge, and it forces them to have to watch their back on the stairs. So there's like time is literally the only reason not to do it if you don't want to. But the nice thing is they bring Maverick, and a lot of people forget you can Maverick torch through the castle barricades as well and peek it before you even open it with sledge. Something you can use to your advantage when they're not expecting it. And the changes to the sound in Maverick's blowtorch have not come in yet, so it's still fairly quiet to be opening those castle barricades, especially if you have some idea whether or not there's someone in the room that will even potentially hear it. Should be interesting. Corey going to be on this Maestro this time, trying to play the old shield bed.
One thing I want to say, though, for everybody joining us back, we've had a few drops here on the stream. We've just been informed. We literally have had no clue until this moment. Our IT team is investigating as we speak, but make sure that things
unfortunately
stop happening.
It does mean longer probably for the VOD to be up as well. Is generally then you can't just go click a button from Twitch to send it over there. So catching the missed rounds will probably take a little while. So we apologize. You can see the scoreline at the top at least. So no, basically things have gone back and forth.
Yeah, basically. And as you said, all of this will be uploaded to YouTube, so you can catch the VODs by tomorrow afternoon, I guess. That's the usual. Around...
Although chances are if you're hearing this, you might just be watching the VODs.
Hello!
Hi, welcome to the VODs, too. Dan, the only one take a bit of damage yet so far.
So nothing really to talk about. It's mainly there is It's just a roam clear of the cache, because you need to take cache if you want to take
Corey
master.
playing that shield on the window. Again, they have a lot of redundant structure.
Aces gets a nice C4 onto Karzeka.
And then Karzeka getting shut down means they now have to expend utility to open these windows. Unfortunately, hopefully he opened the one on the stairs as well before he died, but who knows? 3 breaching charges on the Zofia though means plenty of utility to open.
Trying to figure out where everyone is. So why Scyther isn't helping take cache, I don't get. Because you need to open up the wall if you want to effectively take it. So with the reinforcements in cache, LFO has no reason to get out of there. So why Empire is just saying we're just going to ignore it, I don't get.
Basically everything you need to regardless. But Karzeka going down is not great to start things out along with Dan's damage. At least Alfama's taken a bit as well. But Empire getting pretty slowed down here, as maybe Jim was the play here for LFO. If they can get 2 defenses in a row though, that's pretty good.
Oh, he's trying to turn around, and Hicks will down Dan.
Hicks peeks a weird angle and sees the shoulder or elbow of Dan and gets the down.
Just not really any follow-up.
Nothing really special. It just comes down to I'd say Dan doesn't have a reason to be there holding that angle. He kind of does, kind of doesn't. But I'd really say that the main thing is it just comes down to the way that the character models look, because it's very possible that Dan didn't see anything and Hicks got the down. Hicks got the down because you can see a few pixels of his shoulder.
Doesn't necessarily need to be.
Yeah.
His bait. However, Alfama does get finished off here.
Dan will pick himself back up. His Polish superpowers. And Joystick will turn around into cash. He's going to try to go for the engagement, and he wins it.
Joystick takes the fight, wins the fight. It's the way Joystick works.
His aim onto Hicks finds one.
Gets refragged.
But Rice turns around in construction. He's not pressured, but it's Dan.
Dan is somehow in sight. Now, I'm not sure why or how Dan actually gets in sight like this. Just because it's a team game, and I'm wondering why Empire is kind of doing their own thing.
And on the site immediately against Corey.
Couldn't let him get back up again.
Finds the head. 3v2 as there's Aces and Rise. 2 alive. Gumine stuck.
So Aces killed Scyther. There goes the Maverick.
Aces will get 1 kill. And he's speaking around. Aces, very difficult.
Okay, so this is actually pretty kind of bad from Dan, because he gets seen here.
Aces will get 1 kill.
Misses the shot because it's online, so you can do crap. You can do stupid peeks like that. And with that means that with being at 1 HP that he is, or 10 HP, whatever it is with Zofia, all it takes now the bandit knows Dan's exact positioning and knows exactly where his body is located and can come around pre-firing. So Dan needs to move and change his positioning so that when the bandit comes around going for the fight, his crosshair is going to be off. Instead, he just stays there. However, Shepard wins the fight onto Aces, so there goes the bandit. However, Rise comes in from Cash and kills Dan because Cash was never cleared.
Finally, he'll be eliminated, but Rise has taken away Dan. It's up to Shepard with a diffuser in hand. He can
so many times.
He can put it down on the floor here for A, but there's an.
Now, in this situation, you have two things you can do. The first is you can just try and go for the plant. The second is you can go for the frag. Normally, when there's about 15 seconds left, and it's a 1-on-1, 1-on-2, you go for frags, because you normally can't get the plant down, and if you try, you waste too much time.
Evil eye around the side that is just giving information over to Rise, and he doesn't have to peek unless the call comes out. Shepard will flash on out as he knows his opponent Rise is right in the logistics office. Turns around and they trade.
And it's a trade. Oh! So really good from Shepard there for getting the trade. It's still going to count as a defender win, because that's how it is changed, where basically if you get a trade and the bomb is planted, then it's an attacker win, because no shit, the bomb's planted. And if it's not planted, then the defenders win. I think that it should, personally, I think it should go back to the old way where each team either gets a round or neither team gets a round, but I don't know why they changed this way. But either way, this is seen as a LFO win. Now, we're going back to Arsenal, and I'm gonna go to the restroom, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. Now with that, basement defense coming out. So, mute Mozzie combo as he to stop all drones and gain a bit of info. Rises on Echo again. Alfama on Smoke and Hicks on the Cade. Nothing really special here. Then Team Empire, same lineup. So, it's Empire. They run the same lap for everything.
12 for aces. He's really putting them up there on his team. Corey again going to go with the Mozzie. Now, first time, for those of you who didn't see it earlier, if we happen.
So this roam didn't work the first time, so I'm not sure why they're trying for it again.
Time on Cash, which was first defense for LFO. Empire managed to take it due to a lot of good fragging, especially towards the end. And also catching Corey off guard, as Joystick did in the window. Now he's going to know that Corey's going to be playing this again, probably. But one drone already taken, and that might be Joystick's. If it is, someone else might need a drone for him if he isn't going to have his second one ready. Corey going to be playing from above. Interesting choice. He's really dedicated to that roam because he's just, I mean, he's not completely solo. There is another member upstairs. But you're talking about earlier, the committing resources up here for a church defenses. But I mean, we're seeing more teams do it now to some extent. Oh, he's
yeah.
I have no idea what's going on here. I have absolutely none. I really can't tell you.
You don't have a thatch?
I'm thinking that maybe the Thermite's thinking that with the Zophia's supposed to send her explosive blast onto the wall through the gym window. However, it hasn't happened, and so now Shepard's down 30
That's
HP.
what he's doing there.
He's banned.
Yeah, I'm not sure why maybe he's thinking as a Thatcher for some reason.
Maybe he's awaiting Dan to be. I mean, this is just not coordinated.
I don't know, but now Mozzie's going to get caught out, and that's Corey, who's going to have to try and use it as bait, if anything else. Once that wall gets open, they're going to start to push him now here. Smokes are coming out, though, to help cover, and that traps.
So, Corey is now stuck in the bathroom behind a soft wall. And I didn't even realize I had this. Wall gets opened,
Oh, no, it's not even.
gets killed. So twice the, I mean, this is relatively the same roam. Well, actually, no, it's not. But in the Fnatic versus Empire game back from the last LAN, Fnatic tried to do this not this exact same one. They didn't invest the reinforcement, but they tried to roam around the master area. And every time they just got shot through this wall. So
LFO.
I'm really questioning why LFO is trying this.
A terrible bit of play.
Because you can't hold inside of this. What is that? No. But you can't hold inside a bathroom if the wall gets opened. It's why whenever there is a defense of master, you invest a reinforcement on this wall and then have a rotate hole here. Because if you don't, then bathroom is cleared out incredibly easily.
To be fair, though, you only have so many reinforcements, and you need a lot of them for hatches.
Scyther kills Hicks. I'm not sure how that happened.
Also falling. His backup upstairs. Now they're commit to upstairs. Wall bottoms for time. They're actually
Smoke is roaming. I don't see why.
even try and play inside bar. They're really doubling down, but Alfama smartly leaves.
Oh, the drone.
So there's an Echo drone up there that gets destroyed. So one Echo drone gone.
The yokai is so close, and it gets destroyed.
Well, Ace is really committed. They really don't want to let them downstairs. They're hoping time will be enough to save this.
Look at those reinforcements. There's like nothing left on the site. They have to do something with it.
Yeah, they got to really play aggressive here. Empire just need to play smartly with this. They really need to... Yeah, they got to really play aggressive here.
Not sure who this is, but somebody from LFO is upstairs still.
Empire just need to play smartly with this.
And the strange thing is that Empire really doesn't even have to worry about it, just because there's the door is up in bar set by the defenders.
We need to anticipate the peaks from LFO and play against them. Even use flashbangs here, but Aces being able to sit up here like this, it's not great. Joystick gonna try and hunt him down.
There's a
Might catch
drone
some footprints. There we
right
go.
next to him, and he finds exactly the one he's looking for.
Ooh, Aces peaks, gets the kill, nice. Gets
Oh,
two,
he
that is...
trades with
Ooh,
Joystick.
it's actually a trade.
Oh boy.
A 2 versus 3 now, as Rise is looking to get even more aggressive himself as the Jackal was eliminated.
So you're in a 2 versus 3 situation. 43 seconds are left. I don't think getting aggressive is the right call here. Just because, I mean, the aggression hasn't worked so far. Why would it continue to work? Because you tried to roam, it hasn't worked. You tried to have Aces play aggressively upstairs. He gets a kill, then is instantly traded, and you have main advantage on Empire.
Able to catch 1 or 2 players off guard.
So I don't think that this is really the best thing. This is kind of you're hoping that they have a misstep where Empire is just not going to check anything, and they're just going to run around assuming it's clear. And that's not ever a good call. Because if you're relying on the enemy to make a mistake rather than you forcing a mistake due to how you play, then you're not going to win a lot of games. It's just the way it is. You have to force the enemy to make mistakes, not rely on them to make mistakes.
Right now, Empire are focusing on Bar. Tether will bring his drone back.
They're chasing losses at this point. Thankfully, Rise goes back. Yeah.
Gonna be needed on the site, and he misses the shot. Oh, had that hit, this entire round might have gone topsy-turvy. Alfama waiting out as there's a smoke in the back pocket.
22 seconds.
Right as the entry happens, and Rise is setting up as well in blue.
This Echo right now should be running into dirt and getting both drones set up in a position to stop the plant. Because you have to just rely on Alfama to use his last smoke canister to buy enough time that your Echo drone can be useful. And if at this point both Echo drones have been destroyed, then you need to switch off of Echo.
Doesn't have
Because I think one is there.
Oh, no.
So Scyther just walks in through the smoke,
Oh, he
gets the kill.
Scyther taking out Alfama. His Rise on.
There is a Echo drone inside of dirt. I see no reason why that should be inside of dirt.
Goes to play against the Habana and sits back on the Yokai drone. If he hits this, yes, he can.
Gets the first kill. Problem is, no Echo drone. Bomb's gonna go down.
He's looking for the rest.
Imagine if that Echo drone had been put up into a position where it could see the plant and Rise could rely on his teammates saying when he needs to get on it to use it. And then he could take that kill, hop onto it, shoot the planter with it, and then win the round.
They're going to stick to the diffuser plant here. Bearing 9 in hand. Goes in for the fight inside there.
And loses the fight.
The head. It's Rise away.
So really, this is just round number... I'm not sure. Hold on. That was 10... This is 10 rounds of Echo possibly being in play, and 10 rounds he has done nothing. It's one of the reasons why I say that Echo should almost not be a must ban, because how many Echo mains do you know that are really good? Because Echo mains rely on their teammates being good as well in wasting time, and if you can't do that, then he's useless. I mean, even here, when you waste enough time, he still wasn't useful because the Echo had bad droning. He had bad droning positions. If he had set a drone up somewhere else, it could have changed the entire round. But so far we've gone through 10 rounds and the Echo has not been useful. At this point, get that Echo out of here because it's not useful. it doesn't matter how useful an operator can be if he is never effectively used in that way. It's the way it is. It's like, it doesn't matter. You can take a mirror, arguably the strongest defender, and you can have two absolutely shit mirrors that hurt the defense more than help it. And at that point, you drop the mirror. Not because she's a bad operator, but because she's not effectively being used. If you can't use someone effectively, then there's no point in running him. It's kind of like running a bandit and trying to bandit trick against a Maverick. You're not going to be able to bandit trick against the Maverick, and if they're always running Maverick, there's no point in running a bandit. Doesn't mean Bandit's a bad operator, it just means that you can't effectively use him.
Definitely the fight we were anticipating for a few play days at least. Cash gonna be the site here.
So Cash defense coming out again from LFO. They won this one pretty dominantly on Asus's back.
Which he knew they would predict. He got off the drone and knew they were gonna rush him, which is exactly what they should do. And he read into that, and that was a smart play.
Or reinforcements in garage, same shield, 2 on Cash wall.
He could not live through it, so a great play, unfortunately squashed by just not having enough manpower. Was impressive the trade upstairs as well, though. I gotta applaud them for at least trying the over-aggression, trying to make it work. 2 drones already lost here as well for Empire. You see Joystick and Dan losing theirs. The Mozzie's in play again from Corey, who's been somewhat effective on it. They're again going to bring the Echo as well. So similar utility coming out here from LFO time and time again, as well as the attack from Empire. This time, though, they're bringing Karjeka again with the sledge and not going with the Habana, which surprises me because it is more important to bring the extra hard breachers for the site, but maybe they just really didn't need Karjeka doing that. So the sledge will help, but there's no castle this time to deal with. Instead, he'll be able to open up surface up, but they don't really need a soft breacher when they've got both the Joystick on the Jackal as well as the Zofia. You don't really need the sledge. However, that's going to bring an extra set of grenades, and they aren't bringing a Jaeger. So actually, now that I think about it, that's pretty helpful.
Yeah, I mean, the Jaeger was banned by LFO, and they did it to specifically deal with Joystick.
And now they got to deal with it. So those extra grenades, if well played. Ooh, nice catch there, knowing he has those pests. Now Corey is, of course, across the way, but he did leave his footprints there, and Corey gets a C4 kill.
Pre-placed Nitro Cell. Corey gets the kill, possibly had a drone there. I'm not sure, but either way, actually, no, I think it was a pre-placed Nitro Cell. This just comes down to LFO's reading into what Empire does.
So that is grenades off the board, so unfortunately those didn't work out after all. He's using his drone as well that he stole to be able to help with that intel. Smartly played by Corey, as we said.
So this is kind of the problem with Empire, where they like doing the same thing over and over again. They end up exposing themselves, and they expose their strategies, because if you do the same thing over and over and over again, people are going to start countering you. That Karjeka getting killed there, that's just a direct counter, and that's it. Now, yeah, it's just a counter. Now, what I'm curious is, Walla's untouched, Scyther is here. Don't understand that.
Very good addition to this team and been working out quite well. The rest of LFO now add
Joystick.
an advantage thanks to him.
Okay, Joystick's in.
Hicks gets down in the meantime. Finished off by Joystick.
What? How are they already on the site?
Calls his mate to just run in.
Turns around, he finds...
Corey kills... Okay, what the fuck just happened?
Working out quite well.
Okay, okay, let's see. I think they just said, let's just run in there, go for fights.
The rest of LFO now add a man advantage thanks
So Hicks gets gunned down.
to him. But Hicks gets down.
Shepard, I'm hoping, is holding the flank.
What? How are they already on the site?
Not sure why Joystick looked there. He needed to be worried about the person from Garage.
Oh, Corey.
Scyther refrags, though. Wait, why is Scyther... Hold on, wait. Scyther's there. Who... Was it Dan?
And been working out quite well. The rest of
No,
LFO
Shepard.
now add a man
Shepard is what I was talking about. So what I'm hoping is that Shepard gets in a position to watch this rotate hole, while Joystick can then go do whatever. And really, what I kind of wish would happen is Shepard jumps in... Well, doesn't jump in. Shepard holds this angle. Scyther moves to take that fight. Joystick holds the angle onto Garage, and you just wait for the defenders to react. And you're gonna walk away with a few kills.
What? How are they
Joystick fucks up his crosshair
Already on the
placement,
site. Oh,
loses the fight.
He turns around, he finds one.
I don't understand why Scyther is holding an angle through the bottom of a kill hole when it cannot affect the plant.
Then Scyther to refrag. Shepard
Nobody was paying attention to the echo, and because of that, he ran up and got a kill.
turning in, he finds the head of Alpha. It turns into a
Actually, I think he got it down.
one here. As Scyther is on
Nobody
the
is
floor.
holding stairs and is a 1v2.
This is what LFO are looking for. You need this extra point. They find the kill and Rise.
And Rise comes in big.
That's what.
So this just came down to it becoming a clusterfuck and the attackers not holding the correct angles, where they just flat out ignored this area, and because they ignored the area, Alfama was able to walk in, get it down. Two members were able to just walk up the stairs. If instead of this, if Shepard was just holding an angle, Scyther went to take the fight, Joystick held an angle, and Dan either jumped in or just held an angle as well, this probably could have worked. Instead, they kind of mess up who goes where.
Hicks gets down in the meantime, finished off by Joystick. What?
This is kind of the big thing, where one, Dan doesn't recognize that there's a hole here. Either way, Joystick needs to recognize that he can't get shot from this hole.
How are they?
He fucks that up, and that is what I think really just ends the round. Where if Joystick killed this guy, it could have changed this entire round.
Already on the site. Oh, cool.
Instead, it turns into a 3 versus 2 from a 3 versus 3.
He turns around, he finds one.
And then Scyther goes down. So really, Joystick had kind of bad crosshair placement. Korzeka died to an early. He just died early. And Dan died because no droning.
Then Scyther
And bad communication.
LFO gets
Not necessarily a bad push, just a mistake coming out from. I'd say Joystick is kind of what caused that loss. And you can't really put it all on him. It's just that that's what led to the opening.
Although they maintained their flawless record of no loss and just 2 draws, and the 2 draws against 2 big teams, G2 and LFO, that's still a very good record.
Now, same Master Defense. Now, the thing is that LFO has gone downstairs twice, lost it twice, but has always tried to just do this random roam where they're running around without actually, well, not random, but they're just running around. And they're trying to play aggressively, and they're taking one-on-one fights, which doesn't work against Empire. So I think that if LFO went downstairs instead of showing the same look they did the first time here, they could probably win. Because they're going to be showing roughly the same, I think they're going to be showing the same look.
I will, in the meantime, look at how things have gone.
At least it guarantees LFO can't get another loss here.
So Vitality has played Empire. It was a 7-5 for Empire. And Vitality played LFO and was a 7-2 for LFO. So either way you cut it, Vitality is on the back foot in this matchup.
Yeah, no, realistically, I mean, I think most people would agree with me. It's looking very likely these 2 in Japan.
Yeah, again, we are still at the half, and with Vitality and Na'Vi, even G2 at this point can still make it back. But Vitality and Na'Vi are breathing down the necks of their 2 opponents of Empire and LFO at the top, and Empire have not secured the 33 points that they had in the last season just yet.
Well, so far they've got, all wins, 1 draw, and we'll see if they get another draw, but they can't win again, so they might. I mean, they could lose though. This was a attack that they lost previously. So far, their attacks, as I said, LFO shutting down their attacks is.
Just the,
more important.
I want to see what Maverick does here.
Yeah.
Because Scyther's not the Maverick play. I'm just saying. It's really strange just how much Empire is struggling to open up walls without a Thatcher in play.
Defenses. Although the Monty definitely tried to put a good effort in that. Joystick was pivotal and sometimes in making that work.
You're hearing the suppressed
All right, Corey's creative.
Corey, what are you doing?
So stealthy. Well, when you throw out 80 bullets, maybe it doesn't matter if it's suppressed.
Yeah, well, at this distance, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's true. When you're point blank.
So Korzeka gets the kill into Rise
First to take down Rise here.
through the hatch, so Rise just plays a bit aggressively or loses the fight.
Not a big pick. but the manpower advantage does matter. As you've seen
Now, why no cash attack is coming out from Empire, I don't
these
get.
two teams equally strong when they have
And
equal manpower.
Joystick Karzeka then kills Alfama.
Oh, another
Oh,
one for
no.
Karjeka. Alfama,
Coming.
what are you doing?
Okay. Don't ever go exactly where your teammate just died. I mean, they died there for a reason.
There's 2 bodies down to
Literally, there's a rotate hole right here on the bottom. You can hold an angle from workshop all the way through here, looking at the hatch for a drop.
together. And Aces is close by.
Bad call coming out from those two.
Snow Angels.
So much focus on logistics. And unfortunately, that might be the undoing of LFO.
Joystick takes a fight, wins it, and then Karzeka kills Aces.
Karjeka and Joystick.
Okay, this is just... Empire walked in and just fragged. There was no strategy associated with this. It was just walk in and frag. And oh god, it's ridiculous that there's a team that can just do this against LFO. But I mean, it's the reason why Empire is to a degree the best team in Siege right now. They've literally never had a loss during the Pro League season. At LAN, yes, they lost against G2, but I think that's it. They've drawn against G2 and LFO, but right now they're the best team. And this is kind of why they literally just walk in there and frag. There's nothing to analyze with this round. It's just Empire's better. That's all I can say. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. If there's a game you want me to do or if you have any questions, let me know. And with that, I'm going to end it.